first and foremost want to call hello Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, in the name of his son Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is the brother Quatazabla coming from Sicarii Baltimore. Coming to you with a lesson just to feed the sheep and to go into a little topic. The topic I want to touch on is who's blessed, as pursuant to Genesis 12:3 and Genesis 22:17. But let's go ahead and kind of jump into it. So Genesis 12:1, and Yahweh had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from the house of thy and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Verse 3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So this is going into the blessing that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that Yahweh was going to give to and did give to Abraham to make his lineage as the sand of the sea, and essentially his family would make many nations. But the verse that people always want to go directly to, Christians go to this verse heavy, is verse 3. When it goes into, in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. All right. Just kind of looking through some words one day, because I always look at this verse like the Most High's word is perfect, right? Sometimes when we look at things and we see it from a translation standpoint, this has been translated into English. It may not necessarily read the way that it was, the way it was written in the ancient Hebrew. So when I'm looking at this and I see this word blessed, Strong's H1288, I started to realize, which is Barak, it means to kneel. In the ancient Hebrew, this is the ancient Hebrew lexicon, so outside of the Strong's, going into the ancient Hebrew lexicon, this word means to kneel, to knee, bending at the knee to drink from a pond or present a gift, right? We go in a little bit more, and then you can start to see that you have to really apply this word based on context. People throw that word context around, but this is going to be a prime example of how you have to make sure that you use words and read certain things in context. So in context, it says to bless, salute, curse, blaspheme, to praise, to kneel, and to congratulate, right? So how, if somebody's being blessed, are they going to be cursed? How can somebody be blessed and blaspheme? How can somebody be blessed and kneel? How are these things possible? So when you look at this, it's very easy. We know that the nations, when it all comes down to it, the lineage that's ultimately being focused in on are the Israelites. When it comes down to it, the nations did not bless Israel. They cursed Israel. And because they cursed Israel, then the nations are going to be cursed. So the way this really reads is, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth kneel. Right? So this is what's going to end up happening, is all the families of the earth kneel. So let's go to Genesis 22 and 17. Genesis 22 and 17. Actually, we'll start at 16. Salakia, 15. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith Yahweh, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. So we look at this And actually, let's go ahead and hit verse 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So how in the world, if ultimately the Israelites are going to possess the gates or the gate of his enemies, how are these nations now being blessed and they're going to be possessed? Or a possession, Salakia. How is that possible? Right? So, when we look at this, it's saying the same thing. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth kneel. So all the nations of the earth bow down. And we have plenty of precepts to go into showing that the nations are going to have to be subservient in the kingdom. They're going to go into servitude for 1,000 years. They're going to go into slavery. And these nations are going to, essentially, they're going to take what they get. They're going to get the crumbs from the master's table. They're not going to get the full meal the way the Israelites are going to get it. They're not going to get all the blessings, the glorified body, the ability to not sin. The nations are not going to have that ability. The nations are going to be taught in the kingdom. The nations are going to have to come to the Israelites for want of all things. So those same curses are going to get put on them. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things have come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations whither Yahweh thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations, whither Yahweh thy power had scattered thee. So we go back and start following the law, statutes, and the commandments, and seeking Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. He's going to actually, when it says to turn thy captivity, he's going to end our captivity. He's going to reverse it, right? But let's get to the point. Verse 7, and Yahweh thy power will put these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So these curses that were upon the children of Israel, whenever Israel repents and comes back to the Father, we know that's at the end, then these curses are going to get put on the enemies. The enemies are all listed of Yahweh, are listed in Psalms 83. So if these enemies are listed in Psalms 83 and the curses are being put on them, then how is this some form of a blessing? One thing we have to realize is that sometimes the word blessing, like how it said before, that Strong's H 1288, blessing actually can mean curse, right? So we know this because we know that Esau, his blessing, which actually was a curse, was given to him, and it sounded familiar to the same type of blessing that Jacob got, but Jacob actually got a true blessing of prosperity, and Esau got a blessing that was actually a curse. So let's go to Genesis 27, and let's just kind of look into that real fast. Genesis 27. Is 27 what I want? Let's see, Salaki. Let's see. I think 27 is what I want. Yeah, that's right. All right, so when we look at this, this first portion we're getting into is Isaac. Is Isaac given a blessing to Jacob, right? So, verse 28, Genesis 27:28. Therefore, Yahweh give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Verse 29. This is key into the point. Let people serve thee Right? And nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So again, we look at this, and Jacob is given a true blessing. He's given plenty of corn and wine, and this says the fatness of the earth. Now we look at this word for fatness. Strong's H4924. That word is oil as the breath, right? Fertile land, robust, rich dish. Jacob is literally given prosperity. Is really what it's going into. A fertile place. That's spiritual right there. Olive oil, Israel. Both kingdoms are the olive tree, right? So this is a true blessing. Now we go down here and we look at what happened to Esau. Down here with Esau, now Esau's blessing, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Right? Bless me. Now look at this. He says, does thou have but one blessing, my father? Right? One blessing. That's Strong's H1293, which is the same thing that was given to Jacob. So he's asking for the prosperity, right? But when we keep going, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And he said, bless me. Right? Now, what did he say? Curse me. This is talking about a curse, not actually talking about a true blessing. This is pretty amazing when you look at these words, and you can tell that this is what was happening. Now, all the nations are going to have this servitude, but we know that the storyline in the Bible is Jacob and Esau. Jacob being who we know today as the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of indigenous descent, who came through the transatlantic slave trade. Whether they were brought from the Americas back into Europe and into Africa, or from the west coast of Africa and other parts of the continent and brought over into North and South America. Right? So based upon the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, we know these are the signs that are upon the children of Israel, which is how we narrow down who these people are today, and other brothers and sisters who are scattered around the four corners of the earth. So Esau was literally cursed, right? Now, let's see here. I think we're going. Ooh. I think we're going to Amos. I think this is an Amos. Oh Lord, it's locked there. But not right now. It's too late at night. I cannot see. All right, here we go. Amos. Yeah. So let's take a look at this. Amos 1:11. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, Esau, that's his lineage, are the Edomites, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So we look at Esau. Esau has been chasing, and trying to kill and devour his brother Jacob since they were born. Essentially, they've been battling and fighting. But specifically, once Isaac died, that's when Esau, he had this in his heart to continue to chase and try to kill his brother. Let's look at this real fast. Let's look at verse 41, Genesis 27:41. Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing, right? Hated because of the actual blessing, true prosperity. He hated them because of it, wherewith his father had blessed him, right? Now it says Strong's H1288. Now within that word, we know that now this is not talking about curse. Now this is actually talking about a congratulation, right? This is now going into a salute, a true blessing, a praise, right? Because he said, hey, your brothers are going to come to you for everything. You know, you're going to possess the gates of your enemy. So, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So literally Esau has been trying to slay, the Edomites have been trying to slay the Israelites because of the birthright. This is what it really comes down to. But when it comes down to it also, the Edomites are cursed, and so are other nations. They're cursed, cursed to judgment. Let me see here. Let's go to let's go to Isaiah 44:3. Isaiah 44:3, and it reads, let's see here. Actually, we'll start at verse 1. Isaiah 44:1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith Yahweh, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. So we go into here, the Most High said that he's going to pour his spirit in his Strong's H1293 true blessing, that benediction, prosperity, liberal pool, which is going into water. That's why I said he's going to pour water, a present. He said he's going to pour that on the children of Israel, who are the chosen, right? This is key to understanding it, to breaking down, the false doctrines that Christianity has put out into the earth of replacement theology. Basically saying everybody can be quote unquote saved. In the kingdom, everyone's going to be holding hands and kumbaya. And this is not what the Bible is saying at all. The Most High never said anything of those natures, of that nature. We know that other people will be in the kingdom, but just because they're in the kingdom does not mean that it is a blessing, quote unquote, or it is going to be a glorious occasion for them, within the kingdom. So let's hit Isaiah 61. And let's just see what the gospel says. If you're not familiar, Isaiah 61 is where the gospel is defined. Other places than Isaiah also, but this is pretty straightforward. We know Yahweh quoted this, and let's just see exactly what it says that the other nations are going to be doing within that kingdom, within the kingdom. Isaiah 61:1. The Spirit of Yahweh, thy power is upon me, because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings, the good news, right, the gospel, unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, and to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Verse 2, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh, and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness. Right? The planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified. This is key. This trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh. Just remember that as we continue to keep going at some other precepts. Verse 4, and they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations. They shall repair the waste cities. The desolations of many generations, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers, right? But ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Again, the Israelite man is going to be named the priest of Yahweh, right? Think about this as we go through other precepts. Men shall call you the ministers of the ministers of our God, of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. In their glory shall ye boast yourself. So wait a minute. It's saying that the non-Israelites are going to be working the fields. They're going to be feeding your flocks, plowmen and vine dressers, right? They're going to be the Israelite men are going to be priests and ministers of the Most High, right? And we're going to eat the riches of the Gentiles. And we're going to boast ourselves, in their glory. So I didn't look and see what other translation said. Let's see what this says here in the NLT. Foreigners will be your servants. They will feed your flocks and plow your fields and tend to your vineyards. You will be called the priests of Yahweh, ministers of our God. You will feed on the treasures of the nations and boast in their riches. Right? I'm like, where's this? Where do you see a harmonious, everybody on the same level in the kingdom within inside of what the gospel is actually defined as? The gospel is for the Israelites. It is good news to the Israelites because of all the suffering that they've had to go through, that we've had to go through. Our people have been downtrodden, have been killed in the streets, have been persecuted and used, raped, robbed, and murdered for years, enslaved. And because of these things happening, we're going to get back double. We're going to take everything that was rightfully ours because the earth was made for our sakes anyway. So, let's take a look at, let's go to Isaiah 60 and 5. And as we go through these precepts, just keep thinking about some of the things. Bowing down, plantings, trees of righteousness. The nations are going to bow down. Israelites are going to be trees of righteousness. The Israelites are going to be priests. The Israelites have the water poured on them. Just think about those different things. We're going to hit Isaiah 60 and 5. Isaiah 60 and 5. Let's see. We'll just start at 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So we look right here within the first two verses of Isaiah 60 that the light of the Most High is going to arise on the Israelites. This is what this is going into here. Now on this side of things, it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Right? It says, but Yahweh shall arise upon thee. So this is two different sets of people. Somebody's in darkness, still in the kingdom. And these people that are in darkness have to come to these people to get the light. Verse 3, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. They have to come to us to be taught, to be shown how to live for one of all things. If they want, however we have a system of loans and, things of that nature, the same way they have banking structures, just things set up, we will have something similar set up there also. And they're going to have to come to us for food, for clothing, for shelter, for everything, the same way we come to them. Have to sign their contracts for rental agreements and for mortgages and for cars, loans with interest agreements. We have to do those things now. They're going to have to do those things, with us. So, verse 4, lift up thy eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together. Thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The abundance of the sea is going to be converted. What did we go into? And we saw this before in 61. We say the riches. What did it say that at? Yep. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentile, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Right? Those forces are going to come to us, So, and they're going to be brought to us from around the world. The multitude of camels, so verse 6, 60 and 6. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense. They shall show forth the praise of Yahweh. So as they're coming and bringing it, they're showing forth the praise of Yahweh. Basically, this is what they know they have to do. They have to do this. Let's skip down. Verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. So now they're going to be building up the walls. Their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So Yahweh is the one who's making this happen. The Most High is the one that's setting this in place. So we turn back to Him. The curses go on our enemies. All of the nations that persecuted us have to bring us all their wealth. They have to tend to our fields the same way we did theirs. They have to build up the walls of all the desolate of the places around the earth that were destroyed from war. And their kings, when it says to minister, their kings are basically going to be like servants to us. For in wrath they smote us, or in wrath, the Most High smote us in wrath because we were disobedient. But in favor, He has favor towards us. He's going to give mercy to us, right? He had mercy on thee, the Israelites. Verse 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. These nations are going to have to serve the Israelites. This is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. There's no such thing as a grafted in non-Israelite, a grafted in heathen in the kingdom that is now a part of Israel, that is now a part of the covenant, that now gets all the promises that the Israelites. There's no such thing. The olive tree is Israel. Romans 11 is talking about northern and southern kingdom, Israel. This is not talking about nobody else. These nations have a curse and a judgment that's coming to them. We serve a God that is balanced, and He's just, meaning that He is going to give justice. Although He was upset with us and what we did, right? He was upset with us and what we did. He's still going to have mercy on us. He's still going to be in favor of us when it comes down to it. Salakia. He's still going to be in favor of us when it comes down to it. Let's keep going here. I know there's still some meat. So still some meat on the bones down here. Let's see what we got. Verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Didn't we say earlier, we first started this lesson, Genesis 12:3, that blessing is a kneeling, is a bending down. So they're going to be coming, bending down. We already see, building up the kingdom, bringing us all their riches. So as they're coming, they're kneeling down. So the sons of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And all they that despise thee shall bow, bending, kneel themselves down to the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Yasharallah. Right? 15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Verse 16. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the Holy One, the Mighty One of Jacob. 17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine extractors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land. Right? No more violence in thy land. So this is a cut to the fake Jews, saying that they are Israelites, that they are the real Jews. You know, miraculously enough, they're saying they're only part of three tribes out of the 12. But in the land, whenever the Israelites are there, there's not supposed to be any war in the land. Shouldn't be any violence in the land at all. Wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. Now listen to this. The nations, the strangers, are going to build the walls, right? And what did it say? I think that was in Genesis. We're going to possess the gates of our enemies, right? So I'm like, you can't make this into that the other nations are going to be blessed. The other nations are cursed, are going to get a curse, and we're going to get a blessing, a true blessing, a righteous blessing. So, let's hit Ezekiel 47:12. Ezekiel 47:12, and let's see here. We start at 11. But the miry places thereof and the marshes thereof shall not be healed. Certain places are not going to be healed, right? But Christianity teaches that everything is going to be healed. Everybody's going to be healed. It's, they go into Revelations 22, the healing of the nations, right? We'll touch that real quick also. They shall be given to salt. Verse 12. And by the river upon the bank thereof, On this side and on that side shall grow all trees for meat, planting. Remember, we're talking about trees of righteousness, trees for meat, right? Whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. Children, right? It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months. More children than we can even know. Sand of the sea, right? Because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary. The Most High poured those waters on us, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. The Israelites and our descendants are going to be what the people are going to have to come to, have to eat from, have to, get their wisdom and understanding from. They're going to have to come to us. They have to come to us kneeling. Remember, you shall be priests of the Most High and ministers of Yahweh, right? This is how. But these other areas are not going to be healed. The Israelites are going to be healed, right? These other places are not going to be healed. So this whole notion that the Most High is coming to save the whole world and all humanity and to heal everybody is not there. It's not there. At least from the standpoint of what people think they're reading, that's not what it's saying. Let's see what this verse 13 says. Thus saith Yahweh thy power. This shall be the border whereby ye shall inherit the land according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph shall have 2 portions. So just going into the land division, the inheritance on that. But let's hit Revelations 22. Revelations 22 and 2. Actually, we'll start 22 and 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Yahweh and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. Same thing we just read in Ezekiel 47. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Now you say, wait. See right here, it says for the healing of the nations. We'll get to that. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Yahweh and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. Now listen again. Read this in context. How is this talking about healing non-Israelites? I understand that, reading where it says nations, that's leading you into this. But listen to what this is saying. Just right here, it just said, in the midst thereof, the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruit, 12 tribes of Israel, yielded her fruit every month, had children, so we're going to be in the kingdom, we're having children. Right? A lot of children. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Now, when you go into leaves typically mean like some form like a covering. Let's see what it says in the Greek. I think it just says a leaf in the Greek. But when you go into like the Hebrew and you start looking at context of other places in the Bible, it basically is getting into actually, let's go back. Let's go back to Ezekiel. I think Ezekiel said, didn't it have the leaf on here? I think Ezekiel had that. Yep, Ezekiel had the leaf. So let's see what it says here. All right, a leaf, accompanied with a tree, foliage, branch, a leaf, a shepherd, or a yoke. So we look at that. You look at it from that standpoint. And you look at the paleo, you get into the drawings, the pictographs, the eye and the shepherd's staff to experience the staff, basically like a correction. The yoke, a staff is lifted over the shoulder, is attached to an oxen to perform work. Let's go back. Right? So we look at this, the healing of the nations, right? So we look at these leaves, and like I said before, the leaves was like a covering, but it's like a staff, a yoke. It's a correction. So we're basically here to correct the nations, right? Because then go down here to verse 3. And there shall be no more curse. We know that this is talking about Israel's curse. The curses of Deuteronomy 28, right? The other nations are still going to be this is still going to be a cursed situation for them, right? It's still going to be a cursed situation for them, because listen to the rest of this. But the throne of Yahweh and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. The servants of the Most High are the Israelites. So this is not talking about, everybody is kumbaya. The nations are gonna be corrected. They got to come to us for the want of all things. They have to be taught by us. It's a yoke. We won't have a curse anymore on us, but the nations, as pursuant to Deuteronomy 30:7, will have that curse, their curse on them, which is going to be all the curses that were upon us. All right. Let's hit Psalms. Let's hit actually Zechariah. Let's hit Zechariah 5. Zechariah 5:3. And actually, we'll start at 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, it shall enter into the house of the thief, into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So we look at this. This is going into the chariots, coming back, and being a curse on the whole earth, on that day of vengeance, But it's entering into another man's house. This is not talking about entering in. We know that, we understand that Israel is going to be judged. 2/3 of our people that are in Babylon were not going to make it out. They're not going to get on those chariots. 1/3 of Israel in Babylon is going to get on those chariots and get glorified bodies. But this thing is now going to be turned into a curse for somebody else who sweareth falsely by, my name, So by Yahweh's name. Let's hit Isaiah 34:5. Isaiah 34, verse 5. And this is kind of going to go into that. Let's see. We're going to start at 1. This is bringing on in. Isaiah 34:1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out. Their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Right? So now we're looking at, we see this scroll is talking about a mushroom cloud. The other one was a flying scroll, different. Or the other one was a flying scroll, different. Go back to Salakia, a flying roll. So not the same thing. This is talking about something else. This is talking about the chariots coming in and being a part of the destruction, along as the war is breaking out in the earth, right? Now we go into what Isaiah sees within the part of this, and Isaiah is showing, massive death right here, verse 4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from a tree. Verse 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, a people of my curse, to judgment. So again, we go into this curse. we see the theme that continues to keep going on. We know that Esau was cursed back in Genesis 12. He was not given a blessing. He was actually cursed, and he's cursed to judgment. Esau has been trying to kill off the Israelites ever since that time, and he has a curse that's going to get put on him. Now, ultimately, his ultimate curse is the fact that after his 1,000 years of servitude, like the other nations, Esau is the only nation that is scheduled to be eradicated from the earth. Esau is a plague, and if you don't know, if I have not said, Esau is the so-called white man. Of course, there are Edomites that look like other nations, just like there are Israelites that look like other nations also. But by and large, the so-called white man is the Edomite, Idumean in the Greek. This is a Greek transliteration. But this is the people that is cursed to judgment. This is the so-called the devil that the Bible speaks of. This is the sword of the Most High, the whipping stick that he's used on the Israelites for our disobedience. This is the person and the people, not just the person, the people cursed to the judgment. So their nation of people is going to have to get this judgment, not just a couple Edomites. No, our nation, our people got the judgment, and we had righteous people among our people. Shoot, Daniel was righteous, and he had to go into captivity. Same thing's going to happen to their people. Same thing's going to happen to them, right? So, let's start wrapping this thing up a little bit here. Let's go to Micah. Actually, we'll go to Isaiah 49 and 22. Isaiah 49, 22. Let me see. Yeah. 49:22. Thus saith Yahweh thy power. Behold, I will lift up my hands to the Gentiles and set my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. Verse 23, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. Thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. So, just kind of hammering in this curse that the nations are going to get. So all the nations are going to be under this curse of the servitude. The Edomites are the ones that are really playing out the in the movie script the good guys and the bad guys, Israel being the good guys and the Edomites being the bad guys, but other players, other Gentiles are inside of this also. They're all going to have to bow down, and then Esau is going to be the one that is cursed to the ultimate judgment of being removed from the earth after 1,000 years, as pursuant to Obadiah. So let's go to Psalms 59 and 8. So we probably got 2 or 3 more precepts and we'll be done. Psalms 59 and 8. Psalms 59 and 8. Let's see. Who want to start here? We'll just hit 59 and 8. But thou, O Lord, shalt laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in derision. So all the heathen are going to be, in this word derision is going into scorning, a mockery, laughing, stammering. The Most High is going to have them all in derision when it comes down to it. Not just the Edomites, all the nations are going to be in this situation. They're all going to end up being servants. They're all going to have to bow down to the Israelites. They're all going to exalt our children when they see our children in the streets. They're going to know who our children are. Whenever we come into their towns or their provinces and we're checking in on things in the kingdom, Most High willing, I'm one of those men that's able to walk in and inherit the kingdom. They're gonna be like, oh man, we gotta get everything ready. Hey, the house good to go. All right, hey, all the fields put together. We got the food going. Hey, everything clean. All right, boom, here they come. Oh man, here they come. It's gonna be like, like superstar, rock star status, for lack of a better phrase. Whenever we come into their towns. And they're seeing us. When our children are out and about, they're going to know who our children are. Our children are not going to be touched. They're going to know that, oh, you know what? That's an Israelite child. Ain't nobody ever mess with them ever again in life. So let's go to look at that derision. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. And 3. Let me start at 1. Actually, Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Now, you go back and you read that Zechariah 5, this is going into those chariots, and the Israelites are being beamed up out of Babylon the Great, and that is the salvation, the Most High's chariots of salvation. So, as we're being beamed up, they're looking at us like, what in the world is going on? Like, this is not something that we ever thought that we would ever see. This is what the heathen are saying, right? Verse 3. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this is he whom we have had sometimes in derision. So they mocked us and laughed at us. And a proverb of reproach, they call us all the proverbs and all the bywords in the world, niggas and spicks, so forth and so on, redskins and all types of different stuff they called our people, right? We fools accounted his life madness and his end without honor. How is he numbered among the children of Yahweh and his lot among the saints? They're not even going to be able to understand, and they're going to be so amazed and shocked that we actually are the Israelites, right? This is how you know that we are the people, because nobody's going to be looking for it. They're going to be thinking that that our whole life has been accounted for madness. We've been a mockery to them. We've been laughed at them. Hey, there's no way in the world these people are good for anything outside of being slaves. But when it comes down to it, they're going to be able to see, oh, these are the children of God. These are the Israelites, right? Let's go back to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms. Psalms 2. Psalms 2 and 1. Psalms 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and their rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointing, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision. So when it comes down to it, the Most High is laughing at the heathen. The heathen in all their hierarchy, all their 1%, all their elites of number one, the arch nemesis, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and all the other nations that have lived deliciously off of the Israelites. They're going to be now being mocked and being laughed at from the heavens by the Most High. Now, it's a particular reason why this mocking and this laughing is going to happen. And we'll wrap up with these last two precepts. We go into that mocking and that laughing. We go into Isaac, right? What does Isaac mean? He laughs, right? Of course, we know Isaac is the father of Jacob and Esau. Now, if you got ears to hear, then you're going to hear Isaac is actually Yahushua in the reincarnation, right? So Isaac is Yahushua, and he's, of course, Yahushua is coming back in the as an angel, a glorified body, who is being sent by Yahweh to save the children of Israel, his brothers and sisters, his ancestors, his lineage. So, but he's going to be used. He's going to laugh. He's going to laugh last, right? He's going to be mocking when it all comes down to it, right? So Yahweh's going to get the last laugh. Yahushua is going to have the last laugh. The children of Israel are going to have the last laugh. The nations, they're going to be happy with what they get. Back to that Isaiah 61, but in verse 7, for shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. Right? We're gonna get all that we're supposed to get. Right? The nations are gonna have to just deal with whatever they can get. We're gonna get all double that what we're supposed to get. And last but not least, let's go to Proverbs 29 and 1. Finish us off. Or actually 29 and 2. Salakia. Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked ruleth, beareth rule, the people mourn. So when it comes down to it, even though they have to go through their servitude and slavery, the earth is still going to be in a way better place, in a righteous place. They know that at least there's going to be righteous judgments given in the earth. They know what's going to come is not going to be, a double standard within side of judgment. But these nations are going to have to go through, the 1,000 years of slavery. They're going to have to go through for the rest of their lives in the kingdom, they're going to have to go through being subservient to the Israelites and bowing down to the children of Israel through, and we will be vessels, through Yahweh Shai. So, all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai for grace and mercy. Because when it comes down to it, our people have messed up so much, we don't even deserve this, but, it was predestined for it to be this way. So with that, we'll give call all Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect.